Welcome, beautiful soul, to this episode of the Empress Rising podcast. I invite you now to take your sacred pause with me. So let's place one hand over your heart, one hand over your lower belly or your womb, and we're going to do 3 rounds of breathing in through your nose and gently out through your mouth. You can close your eyes if you wish. For me, that helps me to become more present with myself, to come back into my body and focus on my body. If you hear the background noise, they probably have some kind of concert or something. But we're going to pause. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose, gently out through your mouth. In through your nose, gently out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Welcome. My name is Adia, the mystic Empress herself and the founder of Empress Rising. I welcome you and I'm grateful that you're here. So today we are going to talk about letting go and the art of surrender. I do have some notes for later on, a technique that I came up with that I want to share with you. But in the meantime, my intention is for you to hear part of my story and for me to share some information on how exactly to start to let go, or how to listen to your body in the way that it needs to let go. Okay? So, letting go, what is that? So, the thing is with letting go, what are we letting go in the first place? Well, ever since we were babies, when we came out the womb, right? From the time that we could breathe, the first breath we took, even in the womb, we were being programmed with things. Okay, so there's all kinds of beliefs floating around, and things that your parents are giving you, things that you're hearing from the television, from radio, from the internet. You are being compiled with information, with beliefs, with all kinds of things. And so when you come to the point to where you are overloaded, I believe that that's part of the point, one of the points that you have some kind of awakening, like, this ain't all mine. This is not all mine. And I could tell in my life that there were things that I needed to let go because I was getting overwhelmed and overloaded. If you feel like your body, your nervous system, your body is being weighed down, and you just can't even breathe. You're being smothered by the world. That's a point to where your body's telling you, I need to let go of some things because I can't handle all of this. And so one of the points that I came to is, what does this all mean? Why do I even believe these things? Who taught me this? Who taught me that? There's so many things that we've been taught that don't even come from us and don't even come from where we're supposed to be going. It's like you're walking on a road and you got this backpack that's empty, and you're supposed to be finding what you're supposed to be finding, but along the way somebody says, hey, carry this for me. And you're like, okay, I got some room, but I want to leave room for stuff that I actually need, but okay, go ahead and put it in there. And so they put whatever is in there, right? And so then, you're walking more and more, and then you're like, oh, is that for me? okay, I guess I'll put that in my bag too, right? So all along the way, you are compiling things into this bag, you know, and most of the things aren't even stuff that you even need in your world, or things that, like, things that you even believe anymore, you know, or things that you don't even, that don't even resonate with you, that don't even, you know, it's like when you watch the show, right, when you were a little child, and then maybe the next year it's like, it's kind of boring, you know. I don't really, you know, I don't really need that anymore. So it's different levels and different steps that you go through that start to show you, like, this is not even necessary anymore, or it was never necessary and somebody just compiled it on you because they thought that's what was right for you, right? They thought, oh, I'm supposed to steer her this way, I'm supposed to steer her that way, when really what I know in my reality is that I came to steer myself. As a child, yes, we are guided and we are protected in certain ways. But then there comes a time that we are to reflect. There comes a time that you are to go within to say, is this really me? Is this really what I need to be holding? Is this really what I need to be carrying? You know, like Erykah Badu said, bag lady, you gonna miss your bus dragging all them things like that, you know, because you got too much. You got way too much, you know, and some of the things we carrying that wasn't even ours in the first place. And so, you know what? The thing is that I used to have dreams, y'all, like dreams of, I would like be on the train, and I'm trying to get off the train, but like I have like all these bags I got to take off the train myself, and I'm like, what in the world am I, why am I thinking like this? What, you know, why am I dreaming these things? And I would have just reoccurring dreams. I mean, everywhere I was in the dream, I had like multiple bags, and I'm like, God, what in the world? What does this dream mean? And it was my self telling me, you need to let go of some things because I can't take it no more. Okay, I cannot take it anymore. And so once I started to really look within myself and say, what is it actually that I believe about anything? You know, what is it that I believe about life? What do I believe about myself? Okay, what do I believe about anything? You know, do does any does do any of these things that have been compiled on me, do I really need these things anymore? Have I ever needed these things? You know what I'm saying? So one thing that I started to do was to question myself, right? I would say, what is it that I believe? What is it that I truly believe? And I had to really sit with myself. And then when I started to get certain things that I could see that really fell in line with who I was, the next step was, why am I afraid to just stand on that? And then I had to say, what am I afraid of? Well, you know what? When it comes to belief especially, you become afraid of other people's judgment. You become afraid of other people's opinions of you, whether they're going to shun you out of their lives, whether they're going to disown you. And it takes courage, honestly. It takes courage to let go. Because once you let go, the first step is letting go within yourself, right? But then letting go publicly is like somebody coming out of the closet and saying, this is me. And I'm not afraid. Please don't hit me. Please don't disown me. Please don't judge me. Right? So really, I'd say that part was the hardest part for me. So sis out there, whoever you are, that you are in a place to where I'm not supposed to believe that, but that's what I believe. Come on, baby. Come on out. Come on out. Or if you stay in where you are, start to empower yourself. Okay? Start to empower yourself and start to build yourself up. What I would do, I do it still, but what I started to do were affirmations in the mirror. Just to empower myself and to remind myself of who I knew I was. It takes courage to tell somebody I no longer believe that. It takes a lot of courage. And so what I would tell you right now is that letting go goes hand in hand with surrender, right? Because letting go it's like you're sloughing off layers of things that don't even belong to you. They don't belong to you, including sickness, disease that people have put on you, okay? Including anxiety, including all these things that you have held on to for years and years and years as mine, right? Because look at the commercials. How do I deal with my diabetes? How do I deal with my blood pressure? My high blood pressure. Sis, today I want you to tell yourself in the mirror, that ain't mine. That's not mine anymore. I release that. Okay? I'm not telling you to neglect your care of yourself. Okay? I'm not telling you to not go to the doctor and all this other stuff, whatever. No, I'm telling you to, first off, you should work with them, but you should start to take a hold of your care, of your own body. This is your body, not anybody else's. Okay? And I'm going to tell you also that it doesn't matter what anyone in any field tells you, diagnosis or not. These things are all able to be released. I'm going to say it like that. Okay? So, when we let go, what are some things that we can do? You can breathe it out. Breathe those things out, right? Some other things, and these, not all of this list is for everybody. You have to know yourself. You have to look within intuitively and say, what am I comfortable with doing? Right? Because this is the road. This is me starting to learn me. This is me starting to see what fits me. Because you know what? No one dictates my life anymore. Nobody. I'm taking a hold, I'm taking a grasp of the reins of my life, and I'm going to steer it now. Nobody else is going to do that. That's what letting go does. Okay? So letting go, you can visualize that thing going from you. Get in the shower while you're washing with the intention of letting go of everything that you need to wash away from you, to get off your back, to get off your neck, to get out of your head, to get off your belly, to get off whatever is ailing you. Get away from me. I release you. And just visualize those things just going down the damn drain, okay? Go down the drain. You're done. Okay? So you can do that. One of my favorites, and you need to take safety with this, and you need to know that this is a way for you, if that's your way. Write it down on a piece of paper. Whatever you are releasing, whatever you letting go. I release whatever it is. I released this in my life. I released that because this was never mine. Go off. Go all the way off. Sis, go all the way off. Okay? Because I know I do. I go all the way off. And then you get you a fire safe container. Fire safe. Roll it up away from you. Crumple it up if you want to. I don't care. But make sure it's away from you, because you're getting it away from you, right? And then you take it outside, put it in that container, and burn it down. Burn it. Take it out to the road, dump it, and let it fly. Turn your back on it and say, it's done. That's another way. Now, there are multiple ways that you can do this. There are multiple ways. You have to look within yourself and say, how am I going to let this thing go? Finally, how am I going to not have this thing dictate my life anymore? How am I going to live in the mindset that ain't even mine no more? How am I going to live in the mindset that I deserve to have a healthy body, that I deserve and I am worthy of a healthy mind, and my soul wants to expand through whatever it is? It's calling me to let these things go first and foremost. And if it's so-called hereditary, I'm letting it go for my ancestors too. We letting all of this stuff go, okay? And not just, health conditions, but all kinds of emotional baggage, y'all. I let go of depression. I let go of these things. And like I said, that doesn't mean that I'm telling you to just lose all of the health care that all of the health care that you've been under. But you start to dictate now. Tell that doctor, listen, this is my plan. This is what I want to eventually do. I want to get off of this stuff. I want to detox myself of these things so that I can truly have a healthy body now. And just tell them, look, if you don't want to do it, I'll find somebody else who does. Okay? So you take the reins now. That's part of this. You take the reins. If you an Empress, you take the reins. You take them. And in the meantime, you work on your mindset. You remember that you know how to do these things. You know. Innately, you know how to do these things. Innately, you know what you need to say. Innately, you know that you have everything that you need. Innately, you know that you can create anything in your world. You just have to remember that. You have to accept that. Yeah. So, the art of surrender. When we are letting go, right? When we are letting go, when we're doing our, the things that we need to do in order to get down to our true self, because we're throwing masks off. We're no longer this or that or that or that or that. Any labels that people have given to us, we no longer hold anymore because it's been holding us down, right? So, what are we doing? We start to surrender to the flow of our lives. Surrender to the current that helps us to go through life with ease. sis, you supposed to go through life with ease. Okay? Not with heartache and hustle and, backaches and, oh, I got to do this 80,000 hour shift. Like, we don't have to go through these things, right? Because within our feminine energy is telling us, sis, you need to rest. And that's part of the surrender too. Because when you rest, and that's not just talking about sleep. I talked about that last time. We're talking about zero to low stimulation, outside stimulation. We're talking about getting out in nature. We're talking about going for a walk, with nothing. No iPhone. No, we're not talking on the phone. We're not going through, we're not on, TikTok and all this other stuff. We are just there with ourselves, focusing on us, focusing on our world. Okay? And we're being present with ourselves. So, that's just a couple of things that you can do to rest. You can lay down if you want to. Yeah. You can go to sleep, but your mind is what we're focusing on. Your mind and your soul is what we're focusing on. Your womb. Allowing those things in your body to speak to you finally. Because you had all this chaos all these years, and now there's calm. And now you can be faced with yourself. You can be faced with your mind. You can be faced with your heart space. What is your heart space telling you? What is your womb telling you? Your womb might be like, I could have told you 3 men back. I didn't like them. But you didn't listen. And now you're here, and your heart space can easily tell you, sis, we need to get control of our emotions. Don't let them control us, because your soul wants to be able to expand out of that. Your soul wants to be able to express herself. So when we talk about surrendering, it is a letting go. But surrender, the way I see it, surrender is when you sigh. You sigh and you say, okay, I'll do it. Because you know that you are worthy of these things. These are the things that your body needs. As an Empress, you are to be pampered in these ways. You are to be able to express. You are to be able to rest. You are to be able to create. You are to be able to just sit in your wisdom and flow. In civilizations before ours, the mother didn't always have to go out and say, come listen to what I got to say. No, they came around the mother to hear what she had to say. My great grandmother, I didn't know this, but a lot of my male cousins will come and sit at her feet just to hear what she had to say, because they really and truly adored her. And so they would come and listen to her stories. That's what it is. Our purpose here is so much deeper. Our purpose here is so much more than this. It's so much more than going to work every day. It's so much more than, I got this 9 to 5 and then I come home, pick up my kids, and, I got to get back because I got to feed them and then get them in the bed, and then, and then we wake up and do it all over again. It's way more than this. It's way more. I promise you, it's way more than that. You just have to have the courage enough to be willing to go and grab it. Now, I'm not saying that you have to chase anything, because you know what? Ultimately, when you get into the surrender mode, into the flow mode, it flows to you. Though that lifestyle flows to you. And people come around and want to help you with that. You might be surprised, when you start to flow differently, you start to walk slower, you start to talk slower, you start to take your time drinking your water. You start to take your time eating your meal and enjoying and savoring all of those flavors that you have on your plate. Nothing but good comes out of that. So, in my notes, I have a little guide to helping you to get to this point. Now, this is all customizable for you, because you're going to tweak it how you need to tweak it, right? You are going to tweak it how you see fit. Use your intuition. That's one thing. When you start to listen to your heart, you start to listen to your womb, your intuition is going to be there saying, do this. Let's try that. Let's go here. Let's go down that path. And then you can know, like, this is me, right? So the first step is pause and ground. So what you want to do, you want to try to ground yourself, okay? Nature is good for that. Hello, I'm sitting on the grass. I sit on the grass like almost every day. Sometimes I'm so exhausted with other people's energy that I just come out on the grass, lay down, and I take a nap, okay? And I understand it takes time to get used to that. You will get used to it, okay? So you can put your feet in the ground, your bare feet in the ground. You can go to the beach, put your feet on the sand. You can put your feet in the water. You can go in the shower and ground. You can be so isolated in yourself. You could be in the concrete jungle of New York City, on your bed or on your wood floor or whatever type of floor you got, and you visualize yourself running roots from your appendages down to through the ground into the earth, and you will be grounded, sis. So there is no excuse. Okay? You can ground yourself. Your mind is that powerful that you will ground yourself. Visualize yourself being grounded, and you are grounded. And then throw in a little golden light. Throw in a little golden light around you. You're grounded, sis. Ain't no excuse. All right? Don't tell me I can't ground. I don't have any grass. You know what? And if you got some plants, touch the plant. If you have a tree outside, go hug the tree. Trees are so good for that. They help us in so many ways. Hug a tree and it'll take your negative energy out, or, the energy that you don't need. Okay? And it will pump in more energy into you that will revitalize you. All right? So that's one. So reveal and ask is the next one. You can ask yourself, what old belief am I ready to let go of? And you know what? This takes time. Okay? It takes time. And sometimes it's like, I like to think of it as like a Tetris game. When the Tetris pieces come down or whatever, and then you line them up just right, and then all of a sudden, boom, a whole section is gone. Because there's only but so many categories of beliefs that you have. One day you're going to find that big one, and you're going to say, this is what, I don't even believe that no more. And boom, healing. And you're going to be like, look at me. Look at me. But you know what? That's what healing is that letting go. You're going to let go of that, right? So then it's the release and breathe. Breathe it out. Okay? Remember, you are not your programming. You are not the programs that anybody put in you. You are not the extra baggage that people have put in that bag that was for you to put in, that was for you to put roses and, you know, all types of beautiful flowers and, you know, wonderful herbs and things like that. Yeah, they put in, you know, carburetor parts and, you know, their old feelings and, girl, did you hear? You know, that's what they put in there. Okay? So then activate your speaking. Okay? So one affirmation is, I am safe to love myself. I am safe to rise. I promise you, if you start to say something like that in your mirror in the morning, it'll change your life. You know, at first, I didn't believe it. I promise you. At first, I didn't believe it. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll say these things in the mirror or whatever. But after a while, I feel like there was a shift. And it was like I began to remember who I was. I began to remember how worthy I was. I had a mentor, and I used to tell her this all the time. I don't even know if she knows the multitude, I mean the magnitude by which her words touched me. But I didn't know I was so traumatized by certain things that when she told me that I was worthy, I was offended at first. I was offended. I was like, I'm worthy. You know, worthy this, you know, because I had always been told, oh, you worthy. But it was someone telling me, you're worthy of serving me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, what about my reign? What about my royalty? What about my worthiness? Okay, so remember, you are worthy. You are worthy. You're worthy of love. You are worthy of healing. You are worthy to know what you know. You are worthy of remembering who you are. You are worthy of remembering what you came to do. Okay, so start to activate yourself. Speak life into yourself. You have the power to do that. Nobody else needs to do that. Okay? Nobody else needs to do that. Now, yes, it's good if somebody says, oh, you look beautiful today. Oh, you are, you know, this, that, and the other. That's great. But you know what? If you don't believe it, who cares? Right? So you have to start to believe that. You have to say these affirmations with the intention of knowing that. How about that? Okay? So then you integrate. Sit with yourself. Sit with your truth. Okay? Sit with your truth. It's yours. You're home now. That's one of the points, is remembering who you are. Remembering what you came to be, who you came to be. It's not, oh, I came to serve others. No. You came for yourself first, and out of that flows the help and the healing to others. Okay? That's how we help and heal others, by doing it for ourselves first. And then out of that energy, or out of that, all that power comes from us, and others see the light and they say, oh, I remember I have light too. And then all of a sudden you see all these different lights shining because you shined your light. Not all because you went over and touched somebody and said, let me shake you and shine your light. No, they have to shine their own light. Okay, so there's that baggage. Let's take that out of the bag. You don't have to turn on anybody's light for them. You can't do that. It's impossible. You can't help anybody remember anything. Because first of all, you didn't even remember. Okay? So you have to remember yourself. Shine your light so that others may shine as well. That's the importance. Okay? So I hope that some or maybe all of this conversation resonated with you. But I just want you to really be encouraged, to really understand that it's up to you to take control. It's up to you to let go. It's up to you to surrender to yourself, to what your soul wants, to who you are. That's what this is all about. It's all about who you are and what you came to do for you. And out of that flows so much blessing for everyone else. Okay? So until next week, I want you to be true to yourself. I want you to try this exercise, right? Try all these things that I've talked about. But through this, I want you to be gentle with yourself. It takes time, sis, okay? Believe me, I know. I I did a lot. And we could talk about that next week. Okay? But just remember, you are worthy of love always. So keep rising.